Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Gaur Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radhe, Jaya Jai Radha Madan Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radha Jai Radha Govinda Radhe, Jaya Radha Jai Radha Gopinath Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Gaura Premanandi Hari. Playing music.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for everyone for coming this evening. So, His Grace Shankaranand Prabhu. So, today it's sorry, I forgot what to speak. Thank you so much, Shankaranand Prabhu, for coming all the way from Sacramento, driving today in the rainy day, almost 2 hours. So, today we're going to talk about resolute determination in Krishna consciousness. That's the topic today. And I think Prabhu doesn't need any introduction, but still, for my own purification, I'll just say a few words. So, Shankaran Prabhu was introduced to Krishna consciousness in 1992. So, almost more than 30 years he's been practicing. And in the year 1995, he got initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in ISKCON Chowpatty, Mumbai. And Prabhu served as a full-time devotee in ISKCON Chowpatty Mumbai temple in various capacities as a pujari, preacher, in management capacity. Also, Prabhu has conducted many management trainings and served as a faculty member of MGM Management School, facilitating seminars and on business ethics, time management, self-management, and stress management. So from 2004, Prabhu has been serving in ISKCON New Vrindavan as congregation development. He served in ISKCON New Vrindavan as congregation development manager. He co-founded Gopal Garden Homeschool Co-op in New Vrindavan. And Prabhu has studied occult sciences like astrology and Vastu and helped many devotees use these sciences in most practical ways in their lives. So we have been constantly taking guidance for troubling Prabhu to give. Or Prabhu is also troubling us. So, and Prabhu is also Prabhu lives with his wife Govind Priya Mataji and two children in Sacramento. And Prabhu is heading the ISKCON Sacramento temple. The new temple has come up. It's fully functional. So if anybody is visiting ISKCON Sacramento side,
It's actually not functional, but we are going to start the construction in March.
Okay.
March. No, I mean it's a building, but it's an office building. Right? So we're going to convert it into a temple. So that construction, so far permits were going on. It took almost like 18 months to get permits. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I almost thought you're going to use it even in the current condition. I visited.
We were even using it.
It was
but
really
now
good.
I think like office building, right? So it's all cubicles right now. So yes.
Oh, that's news. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
We're building as per Vastu.
Jai. So without further ado, Prabhu, please in Krishna Katha. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
On Vastu, I remember Premanand, when he went to some seminar in Seattle, Portland actually, they were having some seminar in Portland. College, what is that? Prabhupada disciple from East Coast, from Florida, he does. Who had written a book also, Rap of Krishna, right? Prabhupada's disciple, what is his name? He does generally the seminars in the East Coast, in the Portland. So when Premanand went there, some of the local devotees' children also had come for that, retreat, 3 days retreat. So some of the girls asked, "Are you Shankaran Prabhu's son?" I said, "Yes, your father is so much trouble for us, He huh? Kalakan Prabhu, sorry. So Kalakan Prabhu's retreat. So they said he has shuffled our home. He has made us, so much. So my son was telling me, Papa, you're causing a lot of trouble to others. I'm sorry for that. I'm sure. I also troubled a lot. I'm sure Avinash and Suraj also must be, feeling same thing. So I'm sorry for that. If you feel that way. शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्या मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, can we just read that verse from Bhagavad Gita? Because since we're talking about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Second chapter, text number 2.41. Yeah. Right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर् एकेह कुरुनन्दना बहुशाखायनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनां। व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर् एकेह कुरुनन्दना बहुशाखाः अनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनां। व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर् एकेह कुरुनन्दना बहुशाखाः अनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्। ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्। व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर् एकेह कुरुनन्दना बहुशाखा हि अनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम माता जी wants व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरुनंदना बहुशाखा हि अनंताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरुनंदना बहुशाखा हि अनंताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम व्यवसायात्मिका resolute in Krishna consciousness. Buddhi, intelligence. Eka, only one. Iha, in this world. Kurunandana, O beloved child of the Kurus. Bahushakha, having various branches. He, indeed. Ananta, unlimited. Cha, also. Buddhaya, intelligence. Avyavasayinam, of those who are not in Krishna consciousness. Translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.62 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudruna Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligation to family traditions, humanity, or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is a rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna. And one should accept the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayer for the spiritual master as follows. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado yasya prasada na gati kutopi dhyam swam tasya yashastri sandhyam vande guru shri charanarvindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there's no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisance unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically, but practically. When there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. So, this is actually one of the most beautiful and uh, often quoted words from Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. So, this Vyavasayatmika buddhi generally uh, translated as Prabhupada actually even in lectures, some of the lectures translated as one pointed uh, intelligence. In plain words, if we say focused, a person who's very much focused on one goal in life. But Srila Prabhupada actually mentions here in the purport very much different than the conventional meaning of Vyavasayatmika. Actually, the word Vyavasayatmika is composed of two words, Vyavasaya and Atmika. If you look in the Sanskrit dictionary, the word Vyavasaya actually means resolute. Okay. And the word Atmika is generally used in the sense of something that originates from Atma. Okay. So we'll try to understand today primarily what is actually Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Okay. In conventional meaning, people may think Vyavasayatmika means resolute in purpose. That's what Prabhupada also generally, in the plain translation, if you read Prabhupada said, those who are in Krishna consciousness, they are resolute in purpose. You know. So, uh, resolute in purpose means a person who's very much focused on one goal in life. So, whether a temporary goal, when you set up some temporary goal, if you are very much focused on it, people may mistake it to be also Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. We get a few examples. One example we get from Mahabharata is when the Pandavas and Kauravas, the Duryodhana and his brothers, they were all being trained by uh, Dronacharya in Gurukul. That time, uh, they were being trained in archery, shooting arrows. Yeah. And of course, nowadays that science is more obsolete. People don't really know that. But archery requires tremendous amount of uh, technical skills. First of all, a person has to have physical strength and a very sharp uh, physics and mathematical calculations. Because based on uh, it looks like you are just putting an arrow on a bow and pulling the string behind and shooting the arrow. But it requires tremendous amount of skill. Actually, there is one devotee from, I think, somewhere in Europe. He has a channel also on YouTube. I used to sometimes watch his videos. He he will demonstrate actually on the video. Suppose somebody standing in the kitchen there, right? Person is not visible to you. How can you shoot arrow at him? He would actually shoot the arrow standing here, a person who's not visible, and it will actually hit the object. And he would show. He would actually demonstrate on the video. You may think how that is possible. But he actually demonstrates that in video. It's actually a tremendous amount of skill. So we know also, when Arjun was participating in Draupadi's Swayamvar, the object, the fish, a toy fish was put on the moving disc. Disc was moving, but he cannot look at the disc, moving disc, and shoot arrow. He has to look in the image of the moving disc in the water and then shoot arrow. Now just imagine what kind of physics and mathematics you need for that, right? You're looking at the image in the water, right? So first of all, you have to calculate the speed. You have to calculate the direction in which the object is. And you cannot even look at the object directly. You simply look at the image in the water. Then you have to calculate the image or reflection of that in the water. And, inverted image, and he was supposed to target the eye of the fish, the tiny eye of the fish, toy fish. Can you imagine how much physics and mathematics that involves? So how much focus it would require for somebody who can actually pierce that kind of target? So Dronacharya, when he was training them, he actually tested, after giving them complete training on archery, he was testing them. From time to time, he would give the test to all the children. So one day, he took all of them to the, outside in the forest or garden. And there, on a top of the tree, he had put a bird, a toy bird. So he called all the boys one by one. He calls Duryodhan. So he said, Duryodhan, do you see the bird? Yes. You have to target the eye of the bird. No. And Duryodhan put the arrow on the arrow on the bow. He said, don't shoot till the time I tell you. So he focuses, standing with the bow and arrow. So Dronacharya asked him, what do you see? Duryodhan was flattered, right? He says, Gurudev, I see your lotus feet. He said, disqualified. Go on side. So he calls one by one everyone, even, Nakul, Sahadev, other brothers of Duryodhan, the Dushasan and all the other Kauravas. He asks same question to everyone, what do you see? And they say, we see tree, we see leaves, and everybody, including Bhima and Yudhishthira, they said, we see the tree, we see the bird. But when it came to Arjun, Dronacharya told same thing to everyone, that you have to target the eye of the bird. So he asked Arjun, target your, put your arrow on the bow and target it, but don't shoot till the time I give you instruction. So nobody actually really shot the arrow. But when he asked same question to Arjun, what do you see? Arjun say, I see the eye of the bird. What else do you see? He said, nothing. Nothing? No, nothing. Do you see only the eye of the bird, no trees, no leaves? You're looking in the direction. The bird is on the top of the tree in some branch. You can naturally see the leaves and everything, right? The tree. But Arjun said, I don't see anything else. I see only the eye of the bird. That is a graphic example of, in the materials plane, you can say the graphic example of focused. How much focus Arjun was. And then Dronacharya said, okay, shoot the arrow now. And when he shot, it actually pierced the eye of the bird. But you will find actually in the material world, there are some of the highly demoniac people also exhibit this kind of focus. Like Hiranyakashipu. The description of Srimad Bhagavatam is Hiranyakashipu went for performing tapasya. He had one focus. I want to attain boon from Lord Brahma. That was his focus. He was performing tapasya with this intention that I want to invoke Brahma's presence, and Brahma, when he comes in front of me, I'll ask him the boon. Boon is that I don't want to die. I should become immortal. With that focus, he started performing tapasya. And what was his absorption in tapasya? He was in meditation and his body was being eaten by the ants. The ants were drinking blood from his body, they were eating flesh from his body. So much so, the entire blood and flesh was completely eaten by the ants. He was only the skull, the bones were left only. He was still maintaining the life within the bones. Can you imagine? I mean, who can really do that? Maintaining the life only within bones. There was no flesh or blood left, anything left except bones. But he was still maintaining the life and performing tapasya, completely oblivious to, being bitten by or eaten by the ants. What kind of focus it must be? Sometimes you may think that, oh, this science sounds like a story. How that can be possible? But just because we do not have, personally witnessed or experienced, doesn't mean that it's not possible. Like, for example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear there was Vishwaroop, there was one person, son of Twashta Muni. He had three heads. When we say, this sounds like, some mythology, right? But have you seen people with more than one head in this world? Have you ever seen? Because we have not seen doesn't mean don't exist. Just go online and search on Google. You'll find there are few people in this world who have more than one head. One trunk, one body, but they have two heads. Hmm? Yes. So I remember one girl in US itself, somewhere in the Midwest she lives. Sometime it comes pops up. They call her, what is her name? Brittany, and she has twin names, Brittany and something. So she has two heads, one body but two heads. Mm. Similarly, in India, how some Sardarji, he had two heads, one body but two heads. And you will be able to find their names, exact their names, where they live, the kind of celebrities. So just because we don't get to see doesn't mean they don't exist. So Hiranyakashipu, he was maintaining his life just within the skull and bones. Nothing else left in his body. What kind of absorption must be? Ravana similarly, he performed tapasya for thousands of years. So somebody may think, well, this is also vyavasayatmika buddhi. So much focus they are in life. But can that be called as vyavasayatmika buddhi? Does that entitle for vyavasayatmika buddhi? There is a bird also, especially in this world. It's called Chataka bird. This bird especially has habit of drinking water directly coming from the clouds. Never drinks the water from any pond or lake or river or anywhere. It'll drink only water when it comes in the form of rain. That's all. That's a reality. Chataka bird really exists. Just because we don't get to see doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So just imagine in India, in India especially, the rain comes only certain months. Right? It doesn't come throughout the year. Like like in US, especially you go to East Coast, throughout the year rain keeps coming. So the bird will be probably happy there. But in India, can you imagine? You know, once the month of September, October gone, no rains till next June. And the bird survives always looking towards the sky. That when the clouds appear and when he gets the water. So what kind of absorption that is? Does that qualify for Vyavasayatmika Buddhi? No. If we try to understand this word Vyavasayatmika, then we'll be actually able to understand and appreciate. So the word Vyavasaya means resolute, and Atmika means something that originates from the soul. Now, people in this world do exhibit resolute determination for different things in this world. Even for sense gratification, they do exhibit, what you call absorption. But the problem with that absorption is because that absorption is coming through the layers of three modes. The body, Srimad Bhagavatam explained, this body is actually uh, controlled by three things. This body, Kala Karma Gunadhino Deho Yam Pancha Bhautika. This body, which is made of Pancha Mahabhuta, it is actually controlled by three things: Kala, Karma, and Guna. So the all the three are mentioned in a hierarchical order. Kala is the most prominent, most powerful factor which controls the body. Next to that is uh, Guna, Kala, Karma, and then Guna. So let's try to a little bit understand how this body gets controlled by these three. That will give us an insight how our determination actually reflects. Okay. So Shukadeva Goswami actually explains in Srimad Bhagavatam that how three modes of material nature control everything. So when Sattva becomes very prominent, people who are sattvic by nature, they become victorious. They actually become very prominent. They become successful. When mode of passion becomes prominent, then people in the mode of passion, they become very successful. They rule. They conquer everyone. Like demons, they are in the mode of passion. So they become very prominent and successful when the mode of passion is controlling the creation. And when Sattva is prominent, the Devatas, they become prominent. They actually control. They defeat the demons and everyone else. Similarly, when Tamoguna becomes prominent, then Yaksha and Rakshasas, they become victorious. They defeat Devatas and demons, everyone else. So modes of material nature, they actually uh, control individuals. They control collectively people. They control all the living entities. They control everything in this creation. In fact, our thinking pattern also changes by the influence of three modes of material nature. Our abilities change because of the influence of three modes of material nature. Yeah. For example, if you see last few years, you will find a lot of people, they started doubting even Srila Prabhupada's books, right? Actually, when we grew up, we used to have that firm conviction. Prabhupada's books, beyond, you know, uh, question. Everything comes from Prabhupada's books is actually Vedvakya, which is true, which is actually Vedvakya. But the last 3-4 years, I started hearing even a lot of devotees having doubts. Why? Because, the tamoguna. And how do you know tamoguna becomes prominent? Actually, through astrological calculations, you can find out. And the tamoguna is becoming very prominent. And you will see people's thinking actually changes helplessly. They actually start uh, thinking asat to be sat and sat to be asat. Something that is true, they start thinking this is actually false. And what is false, they start thinking this is true. And this happens with everyone helplessly. Our body is controlled by gunas. So when the mode of ignorance becomes very prominent, our thinking also changes accordingly. So gunas and then karma. Until unless a person has karma, even the gunas are prominent, the person will not have any effect of those gunas. The gunas effect according to our karma. So karma has a very superior role compared to gunas. For example, you know, when Shukadeva Goswami says, when Sattva is prominent, the demigods, they become victorious and they defeat demons and yakshas and rakshasas. But if some demon has karma, even when Sattva is prominent, the Devata will not be able to defeat him. Right? So until as the karma is there, the gunas alone will not help. But even if somebody has karma, until unless as a appropriate time has matured to bear the fruits of that karma, it will not act. So kala actually plays the superior role than even karma, because karma's results are enjoyed in due course of time, kala. So Srimad Bhagavatam says this body is actually controlled by kala, karma, and guna. These three things. So our thinking, our determination, everything changes by the influence of these three, kala, karma, and guna. So mostly in this world, when people express some determination, some firm conviction or endeavor with that firm conviction, is generally translated through three modes of material nature, trigunatmaka. And because gunas always keep changing, gunas are never permanent. Goodness is overpowered by passion, passion is overpowered by ignorance, and ignorance again overpowered by goodness. So that goes on in circle, you know, always. So people whose determination is translated or coming through three modes, it keeps changing. For example, you know, um, when you'll see, very common, right? Especially in young boys and girls. So they start putting status. Oh, I'm dating with this person, right? And after a few months, finish. You know, the relationship is finished. I broke up. They'll put on the status, broke up. After a few months, again another dating, and again after that, broke up. They keep dating, break up, right? So when they start dating, they think, oh, I cannot live without this person, right? But after a few months, broke up. Because the modes of material nature keep changing, you know. So you like the person today, but after some time, you think, oh, this is not something I want to be around. You know? So, of course, when we used to grow up, it used to be a little different. And generally, when you would fall in love, then you expected to get married. And only after marriage you realize Here they realize before marriage only. You know, and that way more matured. But I don't think that is very much desirable because that karmically ruins one's prospects for having a stable family life. You know, so the determination keeps changing because of the three modes of material nature. You know. But when Krishna is speaking in this verse, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Eke Hakurunandana. So this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi is nothing but resolute determination originating from the soul, not from the three modes. So now let's try to understand what is that which actually brings resolute determination originating from the soul. What is that something soul likes to do, which does not translate through three modes of material nature? No. So, soul by nature is Satchidananda, no? Is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. That's what we are really. No? The body is subjected to, you know, deterioration and eventually destruction, but soul is not subjected to that. Soul is eternal by nature. But the soul is satisfied when it comes in contact, you know, what we call as yoga, yunjan, when it gets in contact with the super soul, the supreme Lord. That is the one thing which completely satisfies the soul. Yena atma suprasidati. Bhagavatam says, by that contact with Krishna, Atma becomes suprasidati, means the highest degree of satisfaction, the satisfaction which is cannot be comprehended or even imagined by people on the material plane. That kind of satisfaction is possible only when a person comes in contact with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord. So, in order to uh, have that resolute determination originating from the soul, one has to come in contact with Krishna. In simple words, one has to become Krishna conscious to be able to actually express or have resolute determination. Otherwise, the resolute determination is not possible only. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is only possible for person who is in Krishna consciousness. Because any other determination, no matter how much it may appear to be resolute determination, will only end up in frustration and changing. That determination will again change. The graphic example of that we have, of course, there are a lot of examples in day-to-day life also you can see from people around you. And in the scriptures also you'll find tons and tons of such examples. So in the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have one such example. So it so happens that one of the society girls of heaven, in fact, the most beautiful girl from the heavenly planets, Urvashi, she gets cursed to uh, to develop the habits of human beings. So she actually comes to the earth. She lives in the heavenly planets, but she gets cursed, so she comes to the earthly planets. She develops a human nature, leaving aside her nature as Apsara, she actually develops a human nature. So when she's roaming on the earth, of course, she's still Apsara. She's most beautiful woman of the heavenly planets. So what to speak of earth? You know? So she approaches uh, the king of that time. The king of that time was, which who was actually ruling the entire Bhumandala. His name was Pururava. He was son of Buddha. No. So Pururava, he was the emperor of the whole world. And he was himself very attractive and beautiful. He had a very beautiful body. No. So Urvashi also got attracted to him. And of course, she was the Apsara from the heavenly planets, So she approached King Pururava, with the proposal for marriage. And Pururava very eagerly and happily accepted that proposal. He said, yes, who wouldn't like to get married to you? You're such a, because, the heavenly Apsara, they not only beautiful, but they have all the virtues, good qualities in them. No. Not like, you may sometimes find beautiful people in this world, but they have such bad nature. You know, if you're talking about the man, sometimes man can be very arrogant. They may look very attractive, but they may be very arrogant, you know, sometimes very cruel. Similarly, woman, she may be very beautiful, but she may be unchaste, flick minded, not fixed. But that was not the nature of Urvashi. You know. So when she got, uh, when she approached Pururava happily accepted her proposal. Urvashi said, I have primarily few conditions you have to fulfill by. If you want me to continue, if you want me to be your wife and continue with you, then I have few conditions. So she had come with the two lambs, two pet, animals. They were lambs. So she said, these are my pet lambs. You have to promise that you will take care of them just like our own children. She didn't have dogs. She had lambs. They don't bring the dogs inside the home. So Pururava didn't had any problem. He said, okay, I'll protect them. Agreed. She said, I have two more conditions, which were actually the reflection of the heavenly lifestyle. So she said, I want to eat food cooked only in ghee, you know, so no olive oils, no, no vegetable or peanut oil, only ghee. Purava said, you are the king. He said, no problem, it will be provided. She said, one more thing. And this is also make or break deal. She said, I should never see you naked except in bed. Okay. So that's also culture, People don't roam naked, without putting on proper clothing, exposing their body, you know. So he was also civilized king. He said, yes, I agree. I agree all these conditions. So they started living happily, but not ever after. There is no happy ever after, because no matter who you are and what you are, there will always be if or but. I remember in, when I was in school, we had a math teacher. So he had a very famous you know slogan. He'd say, if you'd ask some question, he said, "Sir, everything is okay, but I didn't get the answers." When you say "but," he would say, "I don't want to hear but, parantu, lekin, kintu." Either you have it or you don't have it. Okay. But in this world, no matter who you are and what you are, there will always be some but, if, always be there, no matter who you are. So they were living very happily. But Indra, Long time went by, so Indra was thinking, oh, Urvashi is missing in heavenly planets. She was cursed, as her curse duration is over, so now she should come back. But she's not going to come back, leaving the husband. She has family now, so she's living with the husband. She will not come now, come up to the heavenly planet. So he told some Gandharvas, you go and play some trick and bring her back. So, in other words, he sent two Gandharvas to create divorce between Pururava and Urvashi. And of course, Urvashi had put three conditions, right? So, if any of the condition breaks, then divorce, right? So the Gandharvas, they came one night when Urvashi and Pururava were enjoying in the bed. So they came and they stole the lambs, the two lambs that belonged to Urvashi. They stole and they started taking them away. And Gandharvas can fly, so they were flying away, with the lambs. And lambs started crying, you know, because the animals, they can also easily understand the person who's not recognizable by them. So they started crying. So when Urvashi heard that crying of the lamb, although she was in bed with Pururava, she became very angry and she started chastising Pururava. I have a husband who pretends to be a man, you know, only in the bed, but he has no valor, he has no courage. Somebody's stealing my children. She didn't say my lamb. She's somebody's stealing my children and he's lying with me in the bed, hiding himself. And Pururava was the great Kshatriya king. He was a very powerful, very with great valor. He was very powerful Kshatriya. When he heard these words, which were actually piercing, he got very angry. He immediately picked up the sword and he went chasing the Gandharvas. But there was one problem. He forgot to dress himself. He was naked, lying with Urvashi, but in anger, he just chased the Gandharvas. So Gandharvas, when they saw the Pururava is coming behind them, so they left the lamps so that he will not chase them anymore. But while leaving, they flashed the light. So Pururava had picked up the lamps and he was coming back to Urvashi. It was night time, Urvashi would not have seen him naked, but they flashed the light. So Urvashi saw him coming with the two lamps, but he was naked. So she said, done. I saw you naked, I cannot live with you. So she left. She left. Pururava was so much attached to Urvashi. He said, no, my dear wife, you cannot. I was just trying to protect the lambs, they're, you love them so much. I went to protect them. You shouldn't be so cruel and hard hearted. Nothing doing. She left. And King Pururava, he actually became almost like a madman. He started uh, performing tapasya. He actually uh, met Urvashi. Urvashi said, okay, if you want me back, then you should please the Gandharvas. They have ability to deliver me back to you. I have to go now. My duration is over in the earth, so I have to go back. But if you please the Gandharvas, if you worship them and please them, they'll be able to deliver me to you. So he actually pleased Gandharvas and they made arrangement that Urvashi can go only once a year to spend a day with him, one day and one night with him. So Pururava, when he got this boon, just imagine out of 365 days in a year, one day he will have his wife and 364 days she was gone. So all the year he would be just eagerly waiting for Urvashi, to have union with her. And when she came, one day, one night is passed immediately. And then again he'll be so much morose and distressed. He didn't like that idea. So he again performed, tapasya. So Gandharvas, they gave him another Apsara which looked exactly like Urvashi. Her name was Agni Sthali. Another Apsara they gave him. So Pururava thought, oh, I got back Urvashi. But the husband wife, they have very intimate relationship. So when he was having intimacy with her, he realized, oh, she's not Urvashi. So he left her in the forest, you know. And when he uh, was having once a year union with Urvashi, Urvashi started delivering babies, Every year she would give him one son, you know. So Pururava was most unhappy. He actually, he used to live in Satyuga. And Satyuga, there was only order of life was Paramahamsa. There were no Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudra. Everybody used to be dedicated for self-realization. But in the course of his desire to possess Urvashi, Satyuga changed to Treta Yuga. And the desire in his heart appeared that I should perform some yajna. Because he used to perform yajna for pleasing Lord Vishnu. The desire came to his heart that I should perform yajna to get back Urvashi. So that's how Treta Yuga began. When the king, king like Pururava, who uh, started performing fruitive yajna for the purpose of getting his beautiful wife back. So that's how Karma Kand actually originated in the Vedas. You know. So King Pururava, uh, he actually started performing yajna and he started worshipping Lord Vishnu. And eventually Lord Vishnu was very pleased. He actually appeared in front of Pururava. Now just imagine Lord Vishnu is capable of giving liberation, right? He could have, Pururava could have asked him that, okay, my Lord, I want to go back to the spiritual world. But when Lord Vishnu appeared in front of Pururava, Pururava said, my Lord, I want Urvashi. And that's not a big problem for Lord. So the Lord made arrangement for Urvashi to be again returning to King Pururava. And then apparently it appears that King Pururava and Urvashi lived happily ever after. But so that's the way the the episode of Pururava ends in Shrimad Bhagavatam in the 9th canto. Looks like Pururava got Urvashi and he lived happily ever after that. But as we said, there is no such thing as living happily ever after. So what happens then? Now, of course, Lord Vishnu delivered Urvashi to Pururava. Nobody can take it away. No? But can you imagine what kind of resolute determination King Pururava must have had to possess Urvashi back? No? What kind of determination must be? He worshipped Gandharvas, he performed yajna, he worshipped Lord Vishnu, you know. And he pleased Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu actually appeared in front of him. How much determination he had. One focused attention that he wanted to have Urvashi as his wife. But in the 11th canto, Lord Krishna actually explains that when Pururava lived with Urvashi for long time, many years, he enjoyed the association of Urvashi, had many children through her. But he was still not happy and satisfied. Having the companionship of the most beautiful woman in entire material existence. Urvashi is actually the most beautiful woman, except, Mother Parvati, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. She cannot compare with them because they are transcendental personalities. But in the material realm, she is actually the most beautiful woman and has all the wonderful virtues and qualities of a woman, Sri Ratna. And yet, Purura was so frustrated. Now, one may think, what was the cause of frustration? You know, same cause of frustration. Suppose you have love marriage and successful love marriage. What you experience after 5 or 10 years in love marriage, that's what Purura also experienced. He was so frustrated. You know, and there he composed a beautiful song that arose from his frustration. And Lord Krishna narrates this whole song to Uddhava in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. It's called Aila Gita. No, no. So, because Purura was also known as King Aila, you know. So, therefore, his song is named as Aila Gita, the song composed by King Aila. So, in this song, he condemns himself that I am such a fool. I was supposed to be the crest jewel of the kings. I'm the emperor of the whole world. You know? But just look at me. For enjoying the sexual relationship, I became like a toy animal in the hands of women who actually rejected and left me and went away. But I was such a fool that I performed tapasya. I pleased Lord Vishnu just to get her back. And living in her association, enjoying, the physical relationship, I have become so dull-headed. I didn't even see when the sun was rising, when the sun is setting. You know, because when people are, so-called material love, they become oblivious to time, right? At least for some time, you know, till the time ground reality hits. They become oblivious to time. You know. So he says, I was so oblivious to time that I didn't even realize when the sun was rising, when the sun was setting. You know. And I feel I got cheated. But what can I say? Even she did not cheat me. She actually, when Urvashi left and Purura was going crazy, Urvashi came and instructed him that, you are a emperor of the world. Don't lose patience, You shouldn't be attached to the material things. She actually gave him good counsel and good instruction. You know? So Purura said she herself counseled me and gave me good instructions. But I was such a fool that just to enjoy her companionship, I wasted precious life, human form of life. So if somebody thinks that, if you have a beautiful companionship, if you have a beautiful wife or a handsome husband, and you have all the wealth which Pururava had, right? All the wealth at your disposal, then you will be happy. You're sadly mistaken. Because none of these things really satisfy the soul. Soul can never be satisfied with nice food, nice drinks, you know, or companionship of beautiful persons, you know, or even the sovereignty or, you know, kingship, rulership of the entire world. No matter what you have. Hiranyakashipu had all of that, but he was so frustrated. He used to, just to eradicate his frustration, he used to be completely intoxicated. He used to drink just to forget his frustration. That's what Bhagavatam describes. His eyes used to be always rolling because of intoxication, because he was so frustrated. Everybody in the world was saluting him. Just one of his son, refused to hear him or refused to obey him. And he was so frustrated. So no matter uh, what we possess, what we have, the soul can never be satisfied. Soul can only be satisfied by coming in contact with Krishna. So when we are actually in Krishna consciousness, when somehow or other we come in contact with Krishna, that one contact alone completely satisfies the soul. Everything else will only bring frustration. And because that contact brings satisfaction, the soul is willing to do anything for that experience or that satisfaction. You know, like um, I remember in my childhood I read some novel that a father and son, you know, they were on the treasure hunt. So they go for hunting for the treasure. You know, and the treasure was somewhere in the middle of the ocean in small island. So in those days they were not very big boats, so they had a small boat. They filled with a lot of food so that they can go and come back. So they went, they found the treasure, but on the way back all their food was exhausted. They had no food left. you know so the only option was, the father was thinking, maybe my son can eat me. Nothing else is left. He can kill me and eat me. That means that at least that way my son would be, alive, and he can, survive. Now, when we have some material love, also you're willing to sacrifice your own life. So he was thinking that I will tell my son, I'll kill myself and I'll let my son eat me and survive and take the treasure and live the happy life. You know, because this kind of sacrifice also brings some satisfaction, right? But the son was so impatient and he was feeling so thirsty and hungry. He took the knife and he told, "Sorry, father, I'm going to kill you because I need to eat something." So when that happened, the father got annoyed. I was anyway going to, kill myself, but my son wants to kill me just to survive. Better let him die. I will survive. So he kills the son. But this is how the determination changes in this world. No matter who you are and what you are. But when somebody comes in contact with Krishna, the soul actually comes in contact with Krishna, is willing to sacrifice everything just to please Krishna, just to satisfy Krishna. As long as the soul has the covering of the three modes, that determination will never manifest. But when the soul is uncovered of the three modes, becomes completely purified, then that determination is actually exhibited by the soul. That willing to do anything and go through anything to bring a smile on the face of Krishna. And that kind of resolution, determination is possible only in pure devotees. The devotees who actually have developed complete purity. They have no covering of the three modes of material nature. They can exhibit that kind of determination. Srimad Bhagavatam gives, like an example, how a person becomes oblivious to, when a person possesses this Vyavasayatmika buddhi, how he becomes oblivious. And Lord Krishna actually um, tells Uddhava in the Uddhava Gita this example that uh, when Ma, when Dattatreya, he was instructing Yadu Maharaj, you know, he told this one of the example that he had experienced. Dattatreya is a saintly person. He used to, travel different places in the world. So he came to one place in one particular town or city where he saw the king's procession was going out. And when the king's procession is going out, it is passing through one shop, workshop, where a person, who kind of an iron smith, he was trying to make an arrow. And again, as I said, arrow and bows is a very tremendous science. So arrow has to be built also with tremendous precision. It has to be straight. It has to have weight balance in both the sides. It has, the head of the arrow has to be very sharp to pierce the target, but also has to distribute the weight evenly, in the front and in the back, so that it doesn't become tilted when it moves forward. So this person is arrow maker. His job is to make the arrows. You know, so this he's so much absorbed in making the arrows so straight and sharp. The king's procession is going on, and the king is actually passing right outside of his workshop, and he's working here and here near the door. The king is actually passing by, and king is not passing alone. He's and the king goes, he goes always with procession, right? So kettle drums are being sounded, and so many soldiers are walking with the king. On the horses are going on, chariots are going on. This person is so absorbed in making the arrow straight and sharp, he did not even notice the king pass by right next to him. That kind of absorption is actually possible or exhibited by devotees who have developed uh, pure affinity and love for Krishna. They have no more covering of the three modes of material nature. We also get the example of this from the lives of the gopis. One time, Krishna in Dwarka, he had left Mathura and he had left Vrindavan and he was in Mathura. From Mathura, he went to Dwarka. So one time, Krishna was in Dwarka and he was having Leela that he's having headache. So Narad Muni came and Krishna was sitting like this. Narad Muni said, "What happened, my lord?" He said, "Nothing, Narada, I'm having severe headache." "You are having headache?" "Yes." "So what can I do to relieve you from the headache?" He said, "My headache will go away only if some of my pure devotees gives me the dust from his feet." So Narad Muni is also a pure devotee. He should have thought, "Okay, Lord, take the dust from my feet." But Narad Muni thought, no, no, no. How can I put dust from my feet? No, that's not possible. So he went looking to different devotees. He went to different devotees. You know, yeah. He went to Hanuman. He went to Pandavas and different devotees. Give dust from your feet. Krishna's headache will go. Hey, crazy? How can we give dust from our feet to Krishna? We'll go to hell. And just imagine. Can you put your foot on the head of the deities? No, we cannot. Right? It's offense. So everybody refused. And finally, Narad Muni came to Vrindavan and he asked the gopis. He told the gopis, Krishna is having headache. They said, what? Krishna is having headache? So how that can go away? He said, Krishna was telling me that only the dust from his devotees' feet can eradicate. So Gopi said, okay, we are kind of his devotees, but you can take dust from our feet. So they immediately started taking dust from their feet and they're giving to Narada. Go, 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 take. Narada said, what are you doing? Are you not afraid? If you put the dust from your feet on Krishna's head, you will go to hell. They said, the gopis replied, we don't mind going to hell. Even if we have to go to hell for rest of eternity and suffer there, unlimited torment. And if that can relieve Krishna's headache for just one moment, it's a good deal. We are willing to do that. This is resolute determination in Krishna consciousness. To give relief to Krishna for one moment of headache, I'm willing to go to hell for eternity. No problem. When I see Krishna smiling, relieved from the headache, that is so satisfying. I'm willing to go through anything for that. This is called resolute determination. Now, Coming to the practical point, how it is possible for us to develop that resolute determination, right? Because we have three modes of material nature. We are covered by the three modes of material nature, right? How can we develop that kind of resolute determination? It's not that, it's out of scope. Forget it. No. Srila Prabhupada actually explains in this purport that uh, this kind of resolute determination, that where Krishna is completely satisfied, is not possible for us directly, but we can attain it indirectly. And Prabhupada quotes this verse from Guru Ashtakam. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadu, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. So if you want to see Krishna smiling, there is one shortcut way. We don't have access to Krishna directly, but there's one shortcut way. If you satisfy the spiritual master, if you put the smile on the face of Guru, who is actually Sakshat Hari Tvena Samasta Shastra, he's actually in one way non different from Lord Hari. So, if we accept a pure devotee of the Lord as our Guru and we bring smile on his face, that's equivalent to smile on Krishna's face. So, can we bring a smile on Guru's face? Is it possible? Yes, that is possible. You know. So, if we somehow there put some effort in our life to bring smile on the face of our spiritual master, for Guru's face, that actually opens the doors for Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. That's how we can actually attain Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. You know, simply by putting an effort to please the spiritual master, to please the Guru. You know. So, first of all, finding a bona fide spiritual master who is actually a pure devotee of the Lord and surrendering to him and trying to execute his instructions to bring a smile on his face. By that, we can easily develop resolute determination, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Okay. So this is some and substance of this words, how we can actually develop this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. I think we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful class. So, last point, how do you get a smile on Guru? That means like follow his instructions. Uh, can you please explain more? What are the practical ways to please Guru?
If we see from the life of Srila Prabhupada, right, and more contemporary, right, this recently, Srila Prabhupada exhibited how he actually brought smile on the face of his Guru. In the very first meeting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he got the instruction that you are a learned man. Why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in English language? And later on, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he again confirmed the same instruction to Srila Prabhupada in the letter, you know, that you try to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in English language, that will do good to you and people whom you guide. You know. And Srila Prabhupada took that one instruction as his life and soul. So, of course, you know, someone may say that, well, I never got a direct instruction from my guru, you know, but guru has given a lot of instructions in his lectures, in his, teachings. You take any one instruction that you think you can actually uh, rigidly try to follow and perfect it. You know. Just take that instruction as your life and soul and try to perfect it. That will bring smile on the face of Guru. And it's not that Guru has to know that I am actually trying to perfect this particular lesson. Because you should remember, we should always remember that Guru is representative of Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda, Lord Balaram, is actually there in everyone's heart. So Guru will know. Whole Guru Parampara will know. Guru Tattva, will know if we are trying to sincerely execute the instructions of Guru. So all we need to do in practical ways, take any instruction and make that instruction as our life and soul.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question. Like you mentioned about the living entity is covered by mainly three conditionings, like in the form of modes, and then above that is karma, and then above that is kala. So it apparently looks like we are all, like when we say prarabdha, we are already programmed to come with certain set of conditioning, certain set of mindset, modes. Everything looks very programmed in a way, a certain way. So it's very apparently it looks like, no matter, like even Arjuna also says, Atakena prayukto papam charati purusha. It's like, unwillingly, what is it that, it is dragging me to do some kind of wrong things. So, and Krishna says, of course, lust and all that. So it looks like as if, we are programmed to function in certain way, and it's very hard to unlearn that and form new patterns. A simple example could be to say, let's say, getting up early in the morning, vyavasayatmaka buddhi, to get up and do our sadhana in the morning. It looks very difficult, Prabhuji. So the progression looks very gradual over the period. I mean, of course, when we see maybe a decade of practice, certainly I can see some change, maybe a small delta. But how do you rapidly make that progression and overcome those conditionings?
First and foremost thing is, it's not that we are programmed, pre-programmed. Body is programmed. Okay, we have to understand difference. The body is like a machine which is programmed. So yes, whatever our prarabdha is there from the past lives, the body is programmed in that way. No? So somebody has, excellent program body, and very conducive for practicing Krishna consciousness. Somebody has not such a high end, program body. Somebody has MacBook. Somebody has, you know, huh? uh, somebody may have Tesla, and somebody may have, ordinary Honda Civic, or but irrespective of no matter what conditioning or body we have, I, as a spirit soul, I am transcendental to the body. That's always the case with everyone. And we can overcome the conditioning of the body simply by one simple technique. There is nothing in our hand. The body is helplessly controlled by the three modes. Okay. And the way body is programmed or even changes, is basically on one and only one factor that is in our hand, totally in our hand. And that is desires, developing appropriate desires. Fulfilling the desires, not in our hands. Fulfilling the desires are based on our karma. But karma is guided by Paramatma from within, simply based on our one factor of desires. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Upadrishta Anumanta Bharta Bhuta Maheshwar. Paramatma is seated in our heart only for one purpose. Upadrishta. He's observing what kind of desires we are having. And as a servant and a friend, he is simply guiding us. Okay, you develop this desire. Now you start doing this, this, this. And after a few lifetimes, you will have the fulfillment of this desire. So Krishna is, as a Paramatma, is always seated in our heart simply to observe our desires. So all we need to do is just develop intense desire that Krishna, I want to bring smile to on your face. I want to see smile on your face of devotees. That's all I want. There'll be a lot of tempting situations coming in life. You know, sometime, you know, it happens that by your dint of your sadhana and practice, you actually become very powerful. You know, you actually start attracting a lot of blessings of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and even material nature starts blessing you more and more. But if you deviate at that moment, oh, I want this material facility for sense enjoyment, immediately they'll be fulfilled. You know, but then you will lose the golden chance, because the more we perform sadhana, the more we actually becoming transparent to Krishna, and Krishna is actually mercy of Krishna actually starts flowing to the life of a devotee. We have to be very introspective and very careful in developing our desires. So all we need to do is just develop appropriate desire, and then Krishna will give everything. As a Paramatma, he will guide from us from within to guide us in a way that you will have all the facility for that particular fulfillment of desire, whether material or spiritual desire, no matter what kind of desires you have. Krishna will always provide facilities. So only thing in our hand is to develop appropriate desires. You know? Like, one time some devotee told me, Prabhu, I want to become a powerful demon. Sometime fight with Krishna. Give him tough fight. Some devotee told me like that. Krishna made a note of it. You know. So you have to be actually very careful what you desire. You know? Because then Krishna will start guiding you. In order to become powerful demon who can actually give fight to Krishna, you can imagine. First of all, you have to become averse to devotees, right? You have to go in that direction. You know? So therefore, only thing in our hands is to develop desires. So the progress may appear to be very slow to us, but all we can do is develop desires, and Krishna as Paramatma will actually guide us to fulfillment of those desires.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have been looking for this answer for quite some time. I mean, it apparently looks like, the match is fixed by material nature. Thank you, Prabhu.
Uh-huh.
Even the desires, like like they will come only after one has like some conducive environment around them, right? Because the point is to have the good desires, right? The right type of desires. So how does one actually, because see, going back to his question, right? Everything seems to be programmed, right? And even like, let's say we go distribute books, or devotees go distribute books and do sankirtan and whatnot. Out of billions of people, maybe few 100,000 people are getting in touch, right? Rest of the people are not having that opportunity, right?
Mhm.
So isn't that the point of having some like proper like prior karma, right? In order to get that exposure in the first place, right? And the same thing can be said about the desires as well, right?
Actually, exposure, as far as exposure to Krishna consciousness is concerned, that is doesn't come because of our prarabdha or some karma. Okay, that comes purely by the mercy of Vaishnavas. So Krishna keeps providing exposure to practically every living entity. No. Even the most demoniac person who hates Krishna, Krishna at some point of time in their life does provide them some facility, some exposure to Krishna consciousness. No. So that's the mercy of Vaishnavas. No. Vaishnavas always try to extend Krishna consciousness to every living entity. So we don't get exposure to Krishna consciousness because of our karma. Sometime devotees, they go to astrologers to find out, who I was in previous life. So one devotee was sharing that a lot of devotees used to go to him asking him, because he was astrologers, he used to live in Mayapur. So he was telling that a lot of devotees used to approach him and ask him who I was in my previous life. And he used to tell them, not important. Just focus on who you are and what you want to be. Who you were, whatever doesn't make. So one time, some devotees from Europe, went to him and he said, Prabhu, I want to know who I was. So he was in a joking mood. He said, in last life you were a buffalo. That's the last thing you want to hear. He said, some devotee sprinkled some water on you, therefore you become human being. And the devotee got so offended and left, never to go to him again. But the point is, we don't get what do you call exposure to Krishna consciousness because of prarabdha or some karma. Of course, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, jananam punya karmanam, those who have accumulated, lot of heaps and heaps of punya, they get exposure to Krishna consciousness. So what that punya actually means is agyat sukriti. Some devotee actually sprinkling water on you or throwing some or giving you some prasad or giving you some book. That develops agyat sukriti. Not everyone who gets a book becomes Krishna conscious or may not become Krishna conscious in this lifetime. Right? But the sukriti, just taking a book from a devotee, deposited. I think one time His Grace Gaurang Prabhu was telling that he met some devotee, initiated devotee in Texas, So he said, Prabhuji, you remember you used to come to IIT Mumbai. I used to come for the program. He said, no, I don't remember. Said, you won't remember because, I used to come only for Prashad. I never used to come for your lecture. He said, I came for, your, after the program would be over, Kirtan, lecture, everything is over, then I would come for Prashad only, to eat only. So I came for 4 years, I was eating Prashad only. I never came for your lecture. So Garangpur said, oh, so it took 20 years for you to digest Prashadam. Because he met him after 20 years as a devotee. So it actually accumulates. The Sukriti accumulates. That Sukriti is nothing but this kind of contact with devotees, whether receiving prasad, receiving some books, or doing some service, to devotee. It could be as simple as just giving a flower to a devotee, and that accumulates. And then at some point of time, when a person is actually mature, then takes to Krishna consciousness. Really. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, first of all, coming here all the way from Sacramento in the nice session.
Really.
Good questions by the two devotees before me. So, Prabhu, sometimes we know, yes, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Kiha Kuru Nandanam, one pointed, single pointed focus, Krishna conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak for myself, it becomes theoretical. Coming from Pushti Marg background, the mantra was Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, only shelter of Krishna, only shelter Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
But then we take shelter, different people. Inadvertently, we don't even realize, we feel that, oh, but I need so much money, that but comes. Oh, I only have few $1 million. I still need few more $1 million. Retirement is so expensive out here, Bay Area, $2,000, just medical expense if I retire today. That thing comes up, and different people have different. Some will have finance, some will have families, some will have Jyotishi. The Sharanam factor is never Krishna. How to really have that one focus attention? You already answered it in a way, pleasing the Guru. But there's a but, what we do, yes, desire should be there to wake up 5:30 tomorrow. But I'm so tired today, Prabhu. Maybe Monday, That happens. This is weekend now. So things like that happen. That somehow or the other, the determination inadvertently goes to, yes, I'm doing it, but Sharanam, the shelter is money, something happen. So how do we really have that one pointed focus? Time is flying. Really like what Vaisheshika Prabhu mentioned in one lecture. We all have some crocodiles on our leg. Sometimes we realize, some don't realize. When we get some news that okay, you have limited time, what do we do?
Well, I remember one time one devotee, uh, Gaurang Prabhu was sharing that one devotee told him, um, Prabhu, my aim is to, well, he was working in IT in India that time. So he said, my aim is to earn, and this is we're talking about 30 years, almost 25 years back. This devotee told Gaurang Prabhu that he said, my aim is to actually earn 1 crore Indian rupees. 25 years back was a big amount annually. Yeah. Every year, I want to earn 1 crore. So Gaurang Prabhu made a very beautiful statement. He said, you earn 1 crore or you earn 100 crores annually. Don't forget, Krishna is your maintainer, not crore. The maintenance comes from Krishna, not from the money that we have. And actually, uh, by Krishna's mercy, that realization comes only when we are faced with some difficult situations in life. No? So when Kunti Maharani is actually praying, Vipada Santa Tatra Tata Jagat Guru, my dear Lord, let there be difficulties again and again. So difficulties are actually the times when we have opportunity to learn that. Learn that principle that Krishna is actually our maintainer. I